What if the direction you're trying so hard to follow is not the one you're meant to take? What if closed doors are not rejection, but protection? What if the next step in your life doesn't come from your plans, but from a quiet moment you didn't expect? Paul, Silas, and Timothy were moving forward with purpose. They had momentum, they had experience, they had a mission to spread the message of Jesus to the world. So naturally, they began making plans. They tried to go into Asia. It made sense. There were cities to reach, people to speak to, opportunities waiting. But something unexpected happened. They were stopped, not by people, not by circumstances, but by the Spirit of God. Think about that. They weren't doing anything wrong. In fact, they were doing something good, something meaningful, something aligned with their calling. And still they were blocked. So they adjusted. They tried another direction, Bithynia. It made sense. Another region, another opportunity, another chance to continue the mission. But once again, they were stopped. Twice. Two good plans, two closed doors, and no clear explanation. Now imagine being in that moment. You're trying to move forward. You're doing what you believe is right, but nothing is working. The doors keep closing, the path keeps shifting, the clarity you expected isn't there. That's where they were. And maybe that's where you are too. Because sometimes the hardest part of the journey is not moving forward. It's not knowing where to go next. So what did they do? They didn't force it. They didn't push harder. They didn't try to break down the door. They waited. They kept moving, but without rushing ahead of God's direction. They came to a place called Troas, and there everything changed. During the night, Paul had a vision. A man from Macedonia stood before him, calling out, "Come over to Macedonia and help us." Just one sentence. But it changed everything. No confusion, no hesitation, no debate. Suddenly the direction was clear. And here's the key. The vision didn't come while they were forcing a plan. It came after they stopped trying to control the outcome. After the closed doors, after the uncertainty, after the waiting. That's when clarity arrived. And as soon as they received it, they responded. Immediately. No delay, no second guessing. They prepared to leave for Macedonia, concluding that God had called them to preach the gospel there. This is one of those moments in Scripture that feels small on the surface, but carries deep meaning, because it reveals something powerful about how God leads. He doesn't always give you the full map. He doesn't always explain why certain doors close. He doesn't always show you the next step until you're ready to take it. But He is guiding, even when it feels unclear, even when it feels frustrating, even when it feels like nothing is working. Those closed doors, they weren't accidents. They were direction. They were protection. They were part of a bigger plan that Paul couldn't see yet. And that plan was about to take the message of Jesus into a whole new region. Macedonia, a gateway into Europe. Think about that. If Paul had gone where he originally planned, this moment might never have happened. The path would have been different. The impact would have been different. But because he was willing to be redirected, everything changed. Now let's bring this closer to home. How many times have you faced a closed door and assumed it meant failure? How many times have things not worked out and you thought something was wrong? How many times have you felt stuck, unsure, waiting for clarity? It's easy to feel discouraged in those moments, to question yourself, to wonder if you're on the wrong path. But what if those moments are not setbacks? What if they are setups? What if the delay is actually preparation? Because sometimes God doesn't just guide you by opening doors, He guides you by closing them. And that takes trust. Because it's hard to accept a no when you don't understand the reason. It's hard to wait when you want to move. It's hard to let go of your plan when you've invested time, energy, and hope into it. But Paul's story reminds us of something important. Obedience is not just about saying yes when things are clear. It's about trusting when they're not. It's about continuing forward even when the path changes. It's about staying open even when your expectations are challenged. And when you do that, something shifts, because you begin to move not just by your own understanding, but by faith. Paul didn't argue with the closed doors. He didn't demand answers. He stayed responsive, flexible, willing. And when the vision came, he recognized it. That's another key point. Clarity often comes to those who are listening, who are open, who are not so focused on their own plan, that they miss a new direction. The man in the vision didn't give a long speech, he didn't explain everything, just a simple call, "Come and help us." And that was enough. Because when you're aligned with purpose, you don't need a long explanation. You just need direction. And that's what they received. So they went. They stepped into the unknown. A new region, a new challenge, a new chapter. And this step would lead to powerful moments ahead. Lives changed, communities transformed, faith spreading in ways they couldn't have imagined. All because they were willing to follow, even when it didn't make sense at first. So what does this mean for you? Maybe you're in a season where things aren't going as planned. Maybe doors have closed. Maybe you've tried different directions and nothing seems to work. Maybe you're waiting for clarity. If that's you, this story matters, because it reminds you that not all closed doors are losses. Some are guidance, some are protection, some are leading you towards something you can't see yet. But you have to stay open. You have to keep moving. You have to trust that even in the silence, something is happening. And when the moment comes, when the direction becomes clear, you'll know. Just like Paul did. And then the question will not be, is this the right path? The question will be, am I ready to follow? Because direction means nothing without action. Paul didn't just receive the vision, he responded to it immediately, and that's what made the difference. So maybe today, you don't need all the answers, maybe you don't need the full plan, maybe you just need to trust the process, to stay faithful in the waiting, to stay open in the uncertainty, to stay ready for the moment when everything becomes clear. Because it will. And when it does, it might lead you somewhere you never expected, somewhere bigger, somewhere meaningful. Somewhere that changes not just your life, but the lives of others too. Just like Macedonia, just like that vision in the night, just like a simple moment that changed everything. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, follow Holy Path Insights, and share this video with someone who might need it today.